viewers, today we are in Nyeri County, Mukurweini, at a place called Muheto. We visit the home of Reverend Eustace Ndomo wa Njogu, a man who has done a lot of work, and I got to meet him when he was a chaplain at Kenyatta National Hospital. Now, Reverend Ndomo is a retired minister in the PCA, but he's still actively involved in the work of counseling. So we get to hear a side of his life that he's still active, though retired as a minister, but still does a lot of work in private practice as a counselor. So welcome to his home in Muheto, Mukurweini, and God bless you as you listen to his story. Welcome to the interview, Reverend Ndomo. Could you take a minute and introduce yourself to the viewers and say hi to them?
Hey, I am Reverend Eustace Ndomo Njogu, and I am a retired minister for more than 10 years, and you are most welcome and feel at home.
Thank you so much. So Reverend Ndomo, tell us about your early life, where you were born and raised, and what you did before you got into the ministry.
Well, I was born around here Muheto,
Okay.
several years ago, in around 1947. And my parents are already gone, but then here I am. I'm married with 3 children.
Okay.
My wife lives with me here at Muheto, and I enjoy being invited by those ministers who are active, who are not retired. I enjoy helping them in this work. Yes.
So as you were growing up and before you joined the ministry, what were you doing? Were you in any other career before you joined the ministry?
Not really, because I was in secondary school, allowed 1960, 68, and so on. And I had the Lord's call when I was in school, in secondary school, in the year 1967. That is when the Lord got me and saved me. Then, 1968, I was in Form 4. During that time in secondary school, I was a chairman of Christian Union in a school known as Southiteto Secondary School. It's just here in Mukurweini. And during that time, when I was serving God as a chairman of Christian Union, the Lord revealed to me that He wanted me to be a church minister. So I applied straight away to go and join St. Paul's College. Of course, some interviews were done by the presbytery of Tumutumu, and I passed all the interviews. Joined St. Paul's United Theological College. So actually, before joining the ministry, I was actually a student.
Okay.
I have not worked in any other career other than the church ministry.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm interested to know, at what point did the church come with an age limit, the lower age limit? Because nowadays, and when we were being interviewed, no one can join the ministry until you are 25 and above.
In fact, during that time, they were not caring very much about the age.
Yes.
Because I reached age 25 when I was already
minister.
in the ministry.
Okay.
Because even identity card I was applying for it when I was in the college. So that time, age didn't matter very much. So long as you love the Lord and your church minister and other colleagues noticed that you are really called.
Yes.
Yes.
And you mentioned something to do with South Teto Secondaries, and
Yes.
nowadays we know it as South Teto Girls. Is it the same school?
Yeah, you are very, very right indeed.
Okay.
Because it started off as a boys' Harambee school. Later, it was a mixed secondary school, boys and girls. Then, girls got separated. They went to another school known as Jege. Still allowed me out there. It remained a boys' secondary school. So when I was studying there, it was actually a boys' secondary school. Yes.
Okay.
That was around 1965, 6, 7, 8. 4 years.
Okay. And now I'm interested to know, you got the call to the ordained ministry, and soon after finishing your secondary school, you went to St. Paul's.
Yes.
Weren't you feeling young? Did you ever think about any other career that you would have done prior to joining the ministry, given an opportunity?
Not really, because that is what I decided to be. Of course, after training, I joined in the ministry, and all the time I've enjoyed working in the ministry. So I didn't think of any other career. There were many. Like when I was in Form 2, I thought of being a trained nurse, not a doctor, a nurse, because doctors do not actually train when in school or something like that. But then the interest of becoming a church minister defeated me. So I joined that ministry just from day one. Yes.
Now, I got to know you when you were a chaplain in Kenyatta National Hospital. That before we come to that, you mentioned something about your desire to become a trained nurse. And later on you became a chaplain. Does the issue of desiring to be a nurse and then your work as a chaplain have any relationship?
Well, yes. All the time, other than being fully occupied in the church, I always see myself doing some sort of part-time hospital work. Like even when I was working in other parishes like Thika, I was finding myself teaching about the Bible and so on in the hospital, to the hospital staff. So that interest too got into my life. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm imagining that's why you, way back when you were in high school, you were feeling that you would want to become a nurse. So now, can you take us through your journey into the ministry, prior and then during the preparation and when you ordained as a minister? Give us a narrative of how you came into the ministry.
Well, when I was still in secondary school, I decided to become a nurse. But later, as I continued learning, just about to finish my Form 4, I got very much interested because in a church ministry. Because even when I was a Christian Union chairman, I was being requested by church elders to preach in the church. And in fact, I used to preach in Muheto Church and elsewhere. So actually, I forgot about nursing and then decided to become a church minister. Yes.
And then you went to St. Paul's.
Then St. Paul's, 1969, immediately after Form 4. And studied there up to the year 72 when I graduated there. The word graduation, people sometimes assume means you are getting a degree. That time, no degrees were done
Yes.
at St. Paul's College. Only certificates and diplomas and so on. So if one wanted to do a degree course, there is a way the lecturers used to connect that interested person to Makerere University. And you had to do some sort of exams so that you are admitted there. Yes.
Now, the years 1968 all the way to 1972 when you were at St. Paul's, those years, your contemporaries at St. Paul's have been instrumental in many areas of PCA ministry.
Yes.
And I know, can you name some of them so that even the viewers can get to know that
Yes.
you are quite a group?
So that time, because it was known as St. Paul's United Theological College,
Yes.
during that time, no other career, no other special courses were taken. So all those people who were in St. Paul's were training to be church ministers from different churches.
Yes.
So after graduation, one had to go back to his own church to go and do the church ministry. So there were no chances.
Yes.
All of them were actually training to be church ministers.
And can you name some of the people that were in school at the same time with you? Both in the PCA and other denominations?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, they are elderly.
Yes.
They are almost like my age.
Yeah.
The other day, I had one of my colleagues known as Bishop Ileli. Bishop Ileli was behind me in St. Paul's College.
Yes.
And then people like Bishop Ileli was an Anglican.
Yes.
Other people are like Reverend Dr. Kimani Shege, Titus Moire, and then many others like Samuel Kovia. I don't know, he is now working with the government.
Yes.
There is a certain section that he is reading there, and many others.
Yes.
So when there, even Akorinos was still studying there. I remember one of them known as Kevenji. When you want to greet him, he didn't use his hands.
Yes.
He said, no. The Lord told me never to use my hands in greetings.
Yes.
So, and so on.
Now, I realize that Titus Mwiri is your neighbor.
Yeah.
Were you interviewed by the same presbytery?
We were interviewed by the same presbytery, and that is Tomutomu Presbytery. Tomutomu was a big presbytery, starting all that way from Nanyuki down to Dodo. All this area was within Tomutomu Presbytery. So me and Titus Mwire were members of Tomutomu Presbytery, and of course Mehote Parish, Muheto Congregation. Both of us belonged there.
Okay.
And we studied a lot with him, and we shared a lot of experiences with him.
Yes.
Yes.
And viewers, it's good to note that maybe those of you that may not know that the late Reverend Titus Mwiri was a brother to the Reverend Dr. Timothy Murere Joya.
Yes.
And they are both from here. So, Reverend Ndomo, take us through your journey of ministry, the places that you served during your active ministry.
Yes, I'll do.
Okay.
As I almost mentioned earlier, after completing St. Paul's Theological College and graduated in 1972, my first posting was in Nakuru Parish. Nakuru Parish was in Rift Valley Presbytery. That time, Rift Valley Presbytery consisted of many parishes. And now already it is subdivided into many other presbyteries. So Nakuru in Rift Valley Presbytery. I was licensed by the church in the year 1973 in my first appointment there, 1973 September, and fully ordained in the year 1974. After ordination, immediately I was posted to another area known as Thika Parish in 1975. During my time there, Thika was in Muranga Presbytery. I worked there as a presbytery clerk and so on. Well, not much that was done while I was there for only 2 years. Then, from Thika, I was posted to Nanyuki Parish. Nanyuki Parish was in Tumutomo Presbytery still, because Tumutomo was a bit wide during that time. So I worked at Nanyuki Parish. Due to some problems, which environmental problems or social something problem, we decided to build a community center there, which would support mostly ladies. There's a big majengo there in Nanyuki, and we wanted to help those people staying there. So we constructed that community center while I was there. And fundraising was done sometimes. The guest of honor was Mwai Kibaki as the Minister of Finance, and an American volunteer was engaged in that, but the ambassador of America joined Kibaki and they laid the foundation stone. Well, then I was transferred from Nanyuki, still in the same presbytery, transferred to come and work in Mihote Parish. Mihote Parish, as I told you, it's already in Tumutomo Presbytery. And Mihote Parish was actually my original place.
Yes.
And that is where I moved from when joining the ministry. I stayed in Mihote from the year 1980. Nanyuki I stayed up to 79. Fortunately, that is the time when I felt the need to get married. And I married my wife that time, 1977. Okay, then, as I said, Mihote Parish. The first year in 1980 at Mihote, I was fortunate because my church, not really a congregation, the whole church, through the training committee, recommended me to go and study at Bosse Ecumenical Institute. That institute is in Switzerland, Geneva. That's where I went to study only for 6 months. Then I came back home after having a certificate in ecumenism. So that really helped me. That certificate really helped me to do many things in the church. So after that training, I came back to Kenya, back to the same parish, and worked for some other years. While in Mihote Parish, we felt the need of subdividing that parish into 3. So we created Mihote Parish, Muheto Parish, Diaini Parish. I opted, after being asked by the presbytery which area should I like to work among the 3 new parishes, and I decided to go to Diaine. So I joined Diaine around 1982 and 83. From there, 83 was transferred again to another parish, and that is Dodora parish. I stayed there from 84 because I left Mihote 83, 84 up to 88 at Dodora parish. I also enjoyed my work when I was working at Dodora parish. Because I worked there, I was kept very busy by my presbytery of Muranga because I was holding 3 offices. I was a parish minister of Dodora. I was a presbytery clerk of Nairobi Presbytery, and I was the director of that community center. I found myself being so busy and occupied and pleaded with the church to employ a director, and they did it. They employed a director, so that I was just working as a parish minister and a presbytery clerk. The Nairobi Presbytery was so large. That time it included St. Andrews, Eastleigh, even Mombasa, and all those areas were part of the Nairobi Presbytery. So I enjoyed my work there. At the same time, that is where I managed to acquire a plot to build a residential house. So I used to live in my own house that time. Now from Dodora, I was transferred once again. You wouldn't mind hearing how many parishes I've served.
Go ahead.
There are many parishes, more than 10.
Yes.
I was transferred from Dodora parish to Githunguri Presbytery to work in Githega parish. These days, no presbytery can be created if you don't at least have about 5 parishes. These regulations, I heard of them just the other day when we wanted to create one, and the head office came, told us the rule now changed. That time at Githunguri, we had only 2 parishes, Kaga parish and Githega parish. So definitely when you are 2, one should be the moderator, and the other one should be the clerk. So I was a clerk, and somebody else, somebody known as Ibrahim Kamau, was my moderator. Later on, Mwaniki, the former Secretary General, joined that presbytery. He was the moderator and I was clerk. So after staying there, I was then transferred from Githega 1980, because I stayed 79. That was my last year to work at Githunguri Presbytery. 1980.
80 or 90?
No, 1990.
Yes, okay.
Posted to Kenyatta National Hospital.
Okay.
Kenyatta National Hospital from 91 up to year 2002. How many years? How many years were those?
Those are almost 12 years.
You are right. I actually worked for 11 years in one station. I really enjoyed working there in Kenyatta National Hospital because while there, I realized that hospital chaplaincy was a good job, but people used to keep on forgetting the other ministers and the church were not remembering that a chaplain actually belonged to them.
Yes.
Then I worked hard there, enjoying my work. And while working there, I underwent several counseling courses. Like now I'm a registered counselor with an organization known as Kenya Association of Professional Counselors. It was during that time when I also went to train on CPE. Many people actually know what CPE is, Clinical Pastoral Education. For 6 months in a place known as Moshi, Tanzania. Once again for six months, came back to Kenyatta. And then I was made the senior chaplain. After my senior chaplain went to England, I decided to live there. I became the senior chaplain. With me, we were working with other chaplains from other churches, like Catholic, Anglican, and Methodist. And we became civil servants after being fully seconded by our churches. So salary from Kenyatta, allowances from Kenyatta, and so on and so on. And you know, the retirement age for civil servants, that time was 55 years. So I was aware that after 55 years, I would definitely retire. In my payslip for other workers, they were reminding us, umri wako sasa ni umri wako sasa ni 51, 52, 53. Then you come on remembering I'm just about to go. And I didn't want to work in any other field other than chaplaincy, counseling, and so forth. So I decided to prepare myself for retirement. How? Courses of counseling. And then, during that time, I also went to USIU University on part-time basis to learn psychology. I spent 4 years, then graduated and got a degree on Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Still, I felt I'm not very much prepared. While in the same hospital, I took another course. This subject known as clinical psychology, for the first time, was created in the Nairobi Presbytery. So I joined the first course to do clinical psychology. I stayed there for 1 year. And the second year, you know, as the policy of PCA, I was transferred from Kenyatta. Retirement. Then, from there, I was posted to Karen. Karen, year 203, 204, 205, 206. In Karen, I didn't do actually much, but still worked as a parish minister, and I also enjoyed my work. You know, all this time I was traveling from home, from Nairobi to Karen. And then from Karen, I was transferred once again to Chogoria Central. Chogoria Central Presbytery to work at Mugumago West Parish. Mugumago West Parish, I stayed there for a few years. Then, when working there, not much experiences and so on noticeable, but then I was to be transferred from Chogoria Presbytery to once again to Kirimara East Presbytery. In Kirimara East Presbytery, you know, I was a bit elderly all this time, posted to Chicago, Nedeni area. At Chicago, I was only 4 years before retirement. And this is the time I thought much preparations for what you want to be should be done during that time. If you want to go home and to work in your shamba, that was the most important age. But let me say, unfortunately, that is the kind of place I was posted. From Embu, Chicago is far, some kilometers. And when you are working there, and your home is Nyeri, Muheto, you cannot really make it. So I worked for 4 years and retired in the year 2012. 2012.
Okay.
That is the time I reached 65 years. In this case, I won't forget to mention that really when one nears the retirement age of 65, something should be done by the church, not really to post a minister who is just about to retire in those difficult areas.
Yes.
Because there is a lot the family expects you to do for the preparation of this kind of retirement. Nevertheless, I completed successfully and retired honorably
Yes.
at Kenyatta, at Chicago in Kirimara East Presbytery. That is where I headed up that kind of ministry. I felt to remain in Kirimara Presbytery because I loved that place. And I had many friends and so on. What I would like to mention here is that if we are considerate enough, when ministers reach the age of 60, allowed 60, they should at least be posted in a place where they want to settle or at their home presbytery. That would help them.
Okay.
Because my life was really touched by my experiences in a place like Chicago. Nevertheless, I retired that time. Some of these courses in general that I took at Kenyatta supported me a lot, especially when in Kenyatta Hospital, all those courses I took are supporting me even now during the ministry I'm going to mention. I'm already a registered counselor, registered by the government. There are some requirements that one is supposed to meet before you are registered as a counselor. You have to have a minimum of your first degree. And that is, for me, that is Bachelor of a bachelor's degree in psychology. So I am already a registered counselor there. And the other certificate I mentioned earlier, known as Kenya Association of Professional Counselors. So right now, during my retirement, what keeps me busy and enjoying my experiences is actually doing counseling.
Okay.
This room here is an office where I do counseling to people who actually come to me for that kind of problem, and also in schools. Usually visit schools, talk to students in motivation, how they can perform well in their exams, how they can train themselves to become important in their own lives, and so on. So this has kept me busy, and the feeling that I still matter in the church work, because that is part of the ministry. So right here, even if I'm retired, I feel a bit happy, comfortable. Some of the clients brought to me, sent to me by the church ministers, when they notice there is a client, there is a person who need a specialized in this area, they bring those cases to me, and I'm happy we work together. And there were some years I worked at Kagio. I had rented an office somewhere for counseling, not only to PCA clients in other churches. The ecumenical study I underwent at Switzerland helps me a lot to cooperate with other ministers from other churches. And you know, the word ecumenism means interdenomination cooperation. I cooperate with other ministers, especially in Mokoroini. I belong to them. So that is how I have been working and so forth. So the biggest challenge I faced was when working at Chicago. But you know, the ruling of our PCA says you should agree to report
where you're posted
at any place you are posted. So me being posted to Chicago, I had not any time to argue or refuse. I just went there merely because I wanted to retire honorably, without any dot of sin or crime or rebellion.
Yes.
And that's how I've been.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yes.
That's quite some ministry. But I must say that you being posted to Chicago is more of an exception than the norm, because the ministers are always posted near their home areas when they are coming to retirement. However, the question I'm wondering is, are you really retired?
Well,
you are in counseling almost on full-time basis.
To our church,
Yes,
and also other churches, after 65,
yes,
you are retired.
yes,
But you as an individual should decide individually what retirement really means. To God, you are not retired.
oh, yes.
You are alive, you are capable of doing anything you want. To me, although I have a shamba and I do some sort of farming, that is not really my core, my calling. In fact, I own it. But the job I enjoy most is when I'm doing the church work, like counseling and so on.
Yes.
Now, you see, according to God, I'm still working.
Good, good. And that's a lesson for us.
Yes.
That preparing for retirement, and those of us that are still in active ministry, that you can also prepare to continue being active in other areas of life and society. So thank you so much for your time. I'm impressed by your ministry and what you're doing here. And we pray that God continues to give you more and more good health so that you continue serving the community here and others. So thank you for creating time to be with us and to share with us this interview, and even to open your home that we can do this. May the Lord bless you and be with you.
God also bless you.
Yes.
Because when you told me you are coming,
Yes.
I really felt quite prepared.
Yes.
And I could go back to my life,
Yes.
see what I'm supposed to share with you,
Yes.
so that other friends may also understand what we go through.
Yes.
God bless you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Viewers, thanks for listening. See you in the next episode of The Rejects. God bless you.